Chad, if you don't mind, please do the roll call.
Yes, sir. Mr. Coyle.
Here.
Mr. Masters.
Can't hear.
Mr. Wicker.
Here.
Mr. Bishop.
Here.
You have a quorum, Judge.
We have lost a couple members of our community this past week, Miss Nancy Daugherty and Bobby Glasscock. I would like to take a moment of silence, please. Thank you all. Appreciate it. The first item on the agenda is consider approval of minutes of the previous meeting held April 19, 2018.
Motion.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Masters.
Yes.
Mr. Coyle.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Unanimous.
The second item on the agenda, I'd like to say a few words before we get started here. Folks, I know that the decision regarding Maker's Mark IRBs for the Crossroads Spec Building and the location of the warehouse site is an important one for all residents of our county. Usually there are many different types of emotion involved in a decision of this importance. Oftentimes, decisions are voiced with much debate and controversy. However, I feel it important for all residents to understand the reasoning behind each decision or vote accomplished by your fiscal court. Please understand that we must do what is best for all of our county residents with a total consideration for the future. Each decision is made with thoughtfulness and consideration for the welfare and big picture of our entire county. True, we must vote as we feel led by our constituents, but consideration of the overall good of our county must be the primary focus of our efforts. We must consider the question, what is in the best interest of our county? The consideration must include impacts that point toward the creation of quality jobs, financial security that includes good salaries and wages, increased tax revenue without raising taxes, the expansion of local industry, increased tourism, and the positive impact of our future. We must understand that all decisions have consequences. However, these decisions can produce very positive results if careful consideration is given to the best interest of our fine county. I personally want each of you to understand that these thoughtful considerations have resulted in today's actions by your fiscal court. We all have lived most of our lives in Marion County. We must see each other on the streets. We must help each other in any way possible that can make our county a great place to raise our family. Apparently, this caring attitude is spread to other parts of the country as we see unprecedented growth in Marion County. Thank you so much for your confidence, but I especially thank you for your friendship and support for fiscal court. I do see we have some members of the community here that, is anybody speaking for the group that we have here? Or anybody like to speak for the group? If somebody wants to speak, yes, he can. Yeah.
I really think what we're asking is not much in the whole scheme of things. I just want us to be covered before it all gets started. We're personally, my family is not opposed to the location. I know it's part of the industry. It helps us. We make a living off of it. We're not opposed to the location. We're glad that it's going to stay in Marion County, but not at our expense. I think we should be covered in the beginning, from the get-go. I think it should be written into the agreement, so that we're not coming back later begging for somebody to clean our houses or make up the difference of the devaluation of our property.
Thank you, Molly.
I don't think that the good of the whole community, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. To have the site here and also take care of the people who live on Brown Foreman. There's a series of houses there. I know the Stallings are 100 feet away from that property. There is no way to argue that the property is not drastically devalued by this action. Their situation is unique. And so I believe that millions of dollars in play, with a little creativity, with a little desire, with a little integrity, you can take care of these people. It just takes a little initiative and some desire. But as we all know, home is not just where the heart is. It's people's biggest investment. It is their greatest asset. It can be devastating. These people are fair. They are reasonable. They are only asking to be treated fairly. That's it. They're not asking you to stop your project. You've got leverage. You're offering incentives for Maker's Mark. There are millions of dollars in play here. You can do this. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that if you set your mind to do it, you can do it. And you can take care of these people. You can take care of the houses at a distance. But in particular, like I said, Mike, they're 100 feet away. Imagine that. And these warehouses are massive. There's no way they survive, their property survives that damage. And I believe wholeheartedly that you can do this if you care enough to do it. The money's in play. You've got leverage with Maker's Mark. I understand that county funds cannot go directly to individuals. I get that. But you've got leverage because you are offering financial incentives to make this thing happen. You're a big player in this thing. And big players make things happen. And I believe that you can do what is best for the community at whole and what is best for these individuals.
Thank you, Laura.
Ground Foreman County Road, Terrible Lane Road. My kids live on long term, semi-traffic constantly. Larry Button, don't forget young kids, same way. What we gonna do about all that? Tourism and stuff, they want it, that's fine, keep it living or whatever.
Understand.
And I would like to say I've been there 40 years, and I had just heard about it last night. Well, I wasn't out public with people wouldn't know. And I am single by myself there to take care of my folks.
Understand.
So I'm opposed to it.
Understand.
I've never been here y'all before. You know, I live right in front of Steve. I'm opposed to it. I mean, I know it. But I'm direct wind traffic. So it's going to be, right, me and who's talking. It'll be right at the, it's just going to devastate anything I do. Open windows, hang out clothes. Yeah.
Can I ask to clarify, when you say have this covered, can you clarify what you mean exactly, what your request is?
Just to work some kind of incentive in there so that we are, so that it's written in there. I'm not asking for a dollar amount or anything like that. I'm just saying that when the time comes and we bring this to you all, that we've had to do this, clean our houses, whatever it is, that we've tried to sell our property and it's not bringing as much as it should bring or would have brought before this, that it's written in there already and you don't have to come here and beg and plead. You come and say, remember, it's in here. And you say, I got you covered.
I read in the paper about how much money Marion County is going to make off all of this, how many dollars the county is going to get, taxes, food and all this. How many dollars is Maker's Mark going to make off of it? I never have saw that in the paper.
One like in cleaning up your house, shouldn't get us. It's gonna get dirty. The warehouses and traffic. And like Tori's talking about, I got kids, live right there, semi, no traffic. The reason I bought it was low traffic, wasn't nothing there. It's peaceful.
Understand.
I feel like the traffic situation will be addressed one way or another, whether it be the, if traffic's unsafe, something has to be done.
Something has to be done,
address
correct.
the traffic,
Yeah.
I don't know what, but,
We'll take care of the others.
oh, I'm sorry. The traffic situation, if it's an unsafe situation, something, as far as traffic, there'll be something done, whether it be, I don't know if you're talking about on 84 on Brown Farm itself, but if I'd say somebody could be killed tonight. I don't have nothing to do with that, but I'm saying if it's an unsafe situation, we've always tried to rectify that and fix roads, fix curves, remove trees. Anything that's unsafe, we've tried to solve that problem as far as that goes, the safety issue. So,
Mr. Waddell?
I would like to say one thing too. Also, the road, that's one of your main things. Because you're gonna have a lot of traffic coming through there. And it won't be slow traffic, it'll be fast traffic. And there's one other thing I would like to say. I always thought Steve Masterson was a good neighbor. But I found out, I'm surprised that he's trying to put this crud over on his neighbor. I can't understand it.
Let me address that. Tom,
We're not here to do all
you sat in this chair for a lot of years, didn't you?
I sure did, and I know how it works.
If it's honesty, integrity, you know. If it's not, you don't. If anybody in this courtroom thinks that this wasn't one hell of a hard decision, you're wrong. You've been good neighbors. I didn't even want it where it is. It was a last resort. I'm sorry. More than you can understand. It's not about selling a piece of property. You own a farm, you don't want to sell it. Somebody actually probably needed to. But that ain't why it's out there. Hayden Material, I pushed for 2 weeks as hard as I could push to put it in Hayden Material. Couldn't get it done. It wasn't something I looked forward to or we planned. It happened. Now, I'm sorry. I'm still a good neighbor. I'm also a magistrate. And when it comes to it, it is for the good of the whole county. Will I hopefully convince Maker's Mark to help out with the issue of the black? I'll do everything I can. What you said about having them over the barrel, it doesn't work that way, Tom. There's 2 places in Nelson County that want them, they're begging for them. 2 places in Washington County, they want them, they're begging for them. We can ask, we can try, and I assure you I will. I can't guarantee results. They offered some money in Loretta. I can't say they will in St. Mary's. The places we looked in the county, it was by far the best location for the proximity of the homes. I talked to Mr. Sparking about 2 hours ago on the phone. He understood, I think, and he does now. He's a good neighbor. I consider him a friend. But this job sometimes is difficult. And this is the hardest decision I made in 15 years.
Has a decision been made with warehouse is going? What are we talking about?
To go on Brown Foreman Road.
Well, once we vote on
How did
it,
that come about?
it hasn't come
about this. We haven't decided anything. Jerry, we're having a meeting here today. It was notified in the paper to let people come and speak, Jerry. That's why you got the notice. Nothing's been decided. We'll know today what's decided. That's the place we're talking about today.
Is that the only place?
That's the only place we could find so far.
Well, none of you have ever been about all this kind
I'm
of
sorry, I didn't hear you, Jerry. Roger. What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Well, it's done. I know how it works.
Everybody knows how it works, but nobody knows how it works.
Mr. Abrams.
I don't know when the discussions occur as far as where it's going. I just got a phone call this morning from a neighbor, and he mentioned that the warehouses might possibly be built located on Brown Foreman Road. I know there was some discussion back a few weeks ago. I heard from Roy looking at the property there, the old Eddie Lee farm, possibly the old Patty Smith farm. And I reached out to several magistrates because like those folks who live on Brown Foreman, candidly, I didn't want those warehouses in my backyard with all that fungus growing on the side of my house. So I don't blame those folks here today either. I don't have a dog in the fight from that standpoint other than I'd like to see these people treated fairly. What I'm also concerned about as a citizen is giving a company like Maker's Mark a 30-year tax rebate. They get a 30-year free pass on paying of these taxes. And I understand that everybody on each side of the issue can come up with a set of numbers to justify their position. But as the old saying goes, liars don't figure, liars figure. Figures don't lie, but liars figure. So, I mean, we can all look at numbers, but in the end, I mean, you've got a corporation like Maker's Mark that's making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Urban industry's never been more profitable than what it is now. And I don't see why we basically have to hand them corporate welfare. I mean, that's what this basically amounts to, is giving them corporate welfare. That's part of the problem with the tax structure that we have in Kentucky right now. If there have been too many exceptions made for this industry and that industry and the next industry. And then that's why we're in the shape that we're in. That's why we have problems in Frankfurt. And I don't see, again, just handing these folks that much money. I know you're going to say they're going to produce this amount of jobs and this amount of jobs, but in the end, it's still corporate welfare. And from a personal standpoint, I'm against it.
Jim, let me say something on that. I agree with you. I agree the whole system is kind of skewed that way. But we can take the $34 million and a lot more in 30 years, or else kind of take it, they're begging for it, and so is Washington. That's the corporate deal. That's the way it is. That's the way it is in business. When the industry wants to come to town, it's the same way. You give something away, you don't get it.
But if everybody keeps wanting to throw out the welfare, then guess what? These people are going to take it. So at some point in time, somebody's got to stand up and say, no, maybe somebody else is going to do it, is going to write you that check, but I'm not going to write you.
We're not really giving them.
But in the end, that's your own vote. Whatever you all do, I respect all of it. But I know it's a tough vote. But
It's actually it's a rebate. I mean, we're not actually giving them. They're not going to be paying what they should later. They're going to pay a lot later. Right now, they're not going to pay. We're not giving them something. We're just abating it for now, and they will pay it later. But right now, people sometimes get confused. We're not paying them to come here. We're not paying them to do it, and we're still going to get some money from them, even if they come now. We're still going to get so much tax dollars and revenue from them. Not as much if we didn't do this, but if we don't do this, they're not even coming. They're going somewhere else anyway, so we won't get anything. But
I got a question for y'all. You're talking about going to the other counties. Okay, are the other counties, are they offering the same thing we're offering? Tax incentives and what have you?
Mr. Urban, you're here with, to Luke. Can you just explain to him that this is common practice in the.
I'm Luke Urban, work at Site Harvesting, working with Maker's Mark on this project. And I think back in 2012, we did a similar structured bond deal here in Marion County. I wasn't around for that specific deal, but I know did the same project back then. And since then, it's increasingly become common practice in the bourbon industry and in different counties throughout the state to engage in these tax incentive programs, whereby the companies get property tax relief, and in return the counties get job creation. The school board will get payments in lieu of taxes, and then the county also gets liquor taxes. So this is something that's attractive for both the counties and the company. So
One question.
there are other counties around the state.
I remember in the Enterprise a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how much the schools and everybody, when is that money going to come to school? It's my understanding that Maker's Mark is not paying any taxes, and I could be wrong, until the liquor actually is stored in the warehouse. Is that true or not?
That's on the liquor tax. That's not on the
Okay,
payment.
how is the 700, or the money that schools not, where is that money going to come from up front?
That comes from Maker's Mark. That's calculated annually.
But maybe how are they paying it? Is it paying a tax, or how is it working?
No, it's a payment to the school board
So they're going to pay that every year, the school board.
annually.
Is it a tax, or how is that, what is it?
It's an in lieu payment.
What I would like somebody to explain to everybody how all this is going to work. Because I don't think anybody knows exactly how all this is going to work. How the taxes are going to get, how the 30-year tax thing's going to work. Explain to people so they know. Like you said, a lot of this nobody knows nothing about. Just explain to them and maybe, it'll change some minds.
So I can try and help Judge.
Please.
So this is a program under state law, incentive program whereby the he negotiates with the school board a certain payment in lieu of taxes. And that's where they make annual payments to the school board. And that's usually based on a calculation of the number of warehouses. And that's an agreed upon amount in a contract with the school board and negotiate. And then also, the liquor taxes is something that the county will still reap benefits of once the alcohol does turn into liquor. So that's kind of.
I mean, so this starts from the very beginning, when they start building warehouses, that's when the county and the schools and all start receiving money.
Or does the tax say, excuse me, does it take so long until that is actually sellable product? So it's to take, has the payment ever been made? I guess is what I'm asking. To the school board yet?
On the current,
On the new warehouses that were just built?
yes. You guys are on the one 2012?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not as familiar with that one, I assume.
They've been paid every year.
Okay, I assume they started back in 2012 when that project started.
So as soon as it goes in the barrel, they start paying?
As soon as it goes in the warehouse.
As soon as it goes in the barrel to the warehouse?
Exactly.
I think he would save a lot of people, and it probably save you guys a lot of headache too, if there was more explanation to people what is going on. Now, I know you have to meet behind closed doors for certain things, but, try to inform the public on what's going on sometimes. Then you might not have all these people opposed to it.
We've explained this several times in several meetings, Larry.
But I've never seen it in the enterprise or what in.
It was in the enterprise in December. Yes, sir.
But now, look, it's May now.
We've written about it several times since then.
Yeah, it's been in the paper.
But I think it would help if you just keep people a little more informed.
We're trying. I mean, I can't.
Like I said, like I told the judge, I'm not opposed to them. But I just like people to understand exactly where everything's going on, for the tax base and all that.
Is there any other land available that would affect homes?
Actually, there's nowhere in Marion County or any other county around us that it's not going to affect somebody. I mean, I can't.
There's nowhere in the county that you can go that's not gonna affect a few people.
There's no way. I mean,
There's,
it's just,
because it can't be back in the knobs, it's got to be where they can get access, they gotta have water, they gotta have electric, and they gotta have somewhere to get to it. It's hard to find a location that suits, we could find a place, but if they can't get to it, it's gotta suit them too.
another way to look at this as well, Maker's Mark could do this without us with any control whatsoever. They can buy this property, put this land, and put these warehouses on it. We have no county zoning. We can't do anything. They could have bought the property out on Eddie Lee property and put that there, and we couldn't have done anything about it. That's because we don't have county-wide zoning. Well, I've tried to get countywide zoning. Nobody will.
Let me ask you
I've
a question
tried.
on that. Isn't that property out there at Eddie Lee's zoned industrial?
It is.
So if they put warehouse on it, it would be industrial, wouldn't it?
So it's county, it's in the county zoning.
Guys, we've been trying for almost a year to find a place to put these things that would affect the least amount of people. And I want to ask y'all a question, and did anybody ever go out to the Hayden Material property and look?
I did.
Who knew they were considering that place? Who knew they were considering that place out there? I didn't think nothing about it, no place.
A bunch of them did. Everybody knew, I think. I mean,
I got a phone call, but I had no clue about it.
I had no idea.
You get a phone call about the Hayden property, had no clue it didn't go anywhere near it.
I heard the city councilors, and they
I
had
think-
a 4 o'clock meeting on Holy Saturday in regards to their.
I take care of the Lebanon Country Club, okay? The reason I opposed the Hayden deal is because I didn't want the blight to turn to the golf course, the factories, the National Cemetery, and all that blight. Because the wind, the preferred wind in summertime blows straight that way. That's why I opposed the Hayden deal. But my understanding, that's over with. So I don't even know why you brought that up.
We're just
trying.
We're trying to.
That's
We're
one
trying-
of the options.
we're trying to explain there's been several options to affect the least amount of people, okay? And like I said, Tom,
If they want to buy something without it, they could go
They could buy it without an IRB.
They still have to.
No, we wouldn't.
They have to okay the IRB.
We have to okay the IRBs, but they could do it without an IRB. That's what they did the last bunch in Loretta. We're done without IRBs.
I understand that. No, I know all about that.
Okay.
But that's why it was opposed after the Hayden thing, because it was gonna turn everything in that area town black. But we didn't want that like Loretta.
Let me ask you that. How do you know that? I rode around Loretta, listen, I rode around Loretta trying to figure out, nobody's ever said how far this stuff travels.
You're right.
And I rode around trying to just look at homes in the warehouses and see how far it traveled. I don't believe it travels near as far as everybody thinks it travels. Now, I'm not an engineer, I can't tell you how far.
Mr. Lund, you have something to say?
Yeah, I got plenty to say. Steve,
But anyway, I'm not here to oppose or anything. I just like for everybody to understand what's going on.
is it fair to all those people that live out on Spencer Hamilton Road, and they were there way before these warehouses be, their houses be rough because.
Those are the ones that weren't abated. Those are the ones that weren't abated. They put them there without any consent of anybody. It was, and they can do it here as well.
That that you all are considered, is that on your family farm?
Family farm?
Is it on your family farm?
My family farm, no.
Considered
No,
right now,
no.
family ties.
My son's, that's not mine.
It's your family though, isn't it?
You said family farm.
Family ties.
Okay, I can agree to that.
Alright,
But I have no part of that property, never have had.
but it's in your family.
It belongs to my sons, Brent and Michael Masterson.
Is this the only place you're considered? What's these other options? Do you have any other options or not?
Apparently you're not listening. We've tried 4, 5, 6 places.
You're not listening. Tell me, do you have any more options to this other than that place then?
Not at the present time, no.
Okay, that's what I want to know. So if you're saying that's where it's gonna be now then, you're not considering no other option?
Is there a time limit on these warehouses that they have to be built? I mean, why is a hurry? Or how long have y'all been working on it?
Been working on it
Looking
for,
somewhere else.
Luke, how long been working on it, Luke? About a year, probably?
Is there a time limit? Are they
Yes,
telling
yes,
you
it
to
is.
get property by a certain date?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They're running out of space.
And we started back in November.
And that's part of the expansion. There's your jobs. That's everything. When they get these warehouses, they got more capacity to put the liquor, so they can make more liquor. So
Guys, this company spent over $200 million in Marion County in the last 10 years. There's nobody else that ever has, since I've been born, put $200 million in Marion County in that period of time.
How much is Paper Mark saving?
Listen,
How much is Paper Mark?
business people, and I consider myself a business person, I worry about what I get. What they get, I'm not concerned with. It's what this county gets. It's what this county gets.
You gotta live with the people.
I do, exactly.
yeah, Martha.
Sorry for coming in late, but sorry for, my question is, nobody wants it. Nobody wants it in Marion County. You're not gonna find a person that wants it. So the two questions I have is, in all your research, have you researched what it does to crops? I mean, my family farms, this black soot that may cover the leaves of our crops could decrease their value. That's just a question. I don't know. I'm not saying it is fact. And second, has anybody ever researched any controls or technology in these warehouses that could abate or get rid of this vapor before it turns into the soot? The vapor, as I understand it, is not the soot. The vapor mixes with the climate to make the mold. So has anybody ever researched? I mean, Makers is in Marion County. We can't get rid of it. We don't want to get rid of it. But wouldn't you like to control things in Marion County if you could? I mean, those are my two questions. The crops, what it's going to do to the crops, and why wouldn't you want them to somehow try to control this vapor before you scatter warehouses everywhere? I mean, this is not just a today problem. It's like a forever problem. Makers is not going away.
I don't think the crops, this mold, whatever, it doesn't accumulate in 6 months or 5 months. Evidently, it takes a while, and then crops.
Ask them how long it took to show up on their houses.
I'm just saying crops, you put the crops out in the spring, you harvest them in the fall. That's like a 6-month
It
period
doesn't,
or
it doesn't
something.
affect trees, I do know that. I can't tell you about corn or soybeans. One last thing, my last thing I'm gonna say, you guys, y'all talking about land value decreasing, and listen, I'm concerned too, for you. And my son is selling property. Anybody here familiar with Brown Foreman Road? I know you are, Tom. Do you know how many lots are around that place down to that they own? A lot more than what they're selling. And, they may get some money for the property, but they're gonna lose a lot of money on lots if it has the effect you guys say it's gonna have. Because if it's not worth nothing, you can't live there, they got a lot of lots to be worthless, don't they? And they won't keep it forever. I got the grandkids that don't want to farm, so when my son stopped farming, it'd all be done. Somebody will own it. So I guess in effect,
But
they'd
they
be,
won't be able to sell it because it has black soot over everything.
Does the soot get in the soil?
I'm sorry,
Does the soot get in the soil? The mold, it causes problems with the problem.
Doesn't call it
Because
healthy.
if it does
Well-
all year long, it's gotta get somewhere, gotta go.
Peterson Farm beside-
Will it get in the?
Peterson Farm beside Heaven Hill over at Bardstown. You know where that is, don't you? If you look over there about every summer, there's not a better crop anywhere. That's right across the road from Heaven Hill. Well, we all gotta fertilize. But I can't answer that question.
But no, mold is not good for anything. And if it gets in the soil, it could be not good for the crop either.
I can't answer that.
It sounds like over the last year, it's been going on that long. We asked you first about how far it travels, you didn't know that. And now we're asking about the crop deal.
Keith brought in here.
He's done some, Keith, can you help us out here a little bit?
Well, my problem is,
It doesn't sound like y'all
smart
really
people speak, and they
looked
should
into it,
have
researched it that much.
researched it because it's been around a long time, right? There should be some research that shows whether it does.
Keith, can you help us out a little bit?
Sure. Be glad to. David had indicated to me that he might ask me to kind of clarify a few issues about the public health significance of the mold. I've worked this county environmentally for 46 years. You all knew that I worked at the health department all those years. And I've dealt with this black city mold in the past. What we have here, this is a wonderful forum that we've got here today because it's doing the democratic thing, and we're able to sit here and hash out the good and the bad, if there is a good, to this issue. We've dealt with similar problems with this. The fiscal court it applies to landfill siting. There's two acronyms that you have to deal with when you talk about something going in somewhere next to your house. One of the acronyms is NIMBY, which means not in my backyard, and the other one is NOTE, not over there either. We've got two issues when you talk about black city mold. It's an aesthetic issue, it devalues property, and it could maybe be, you think, a public health or a soils issue or a crop issue. Done a lot of research through the years on both of them. There's no doubt that it is an aesthetic issue. It causes problems. It will grow because the methanol, the alcohol that effervesces off the warehouse, the stuff lives on it. It's a naturally occurring mold. It grows on trees, it grows on leaves. You just don't see it very much because it needs the methanol, the alcohol to live. It really thrives. It is an aesthetic issue. I mean, we know that. You would think that if it's going to be an aesthetic issue similar to the Loretta problem that we've seen in the past, that makers or somebody might do something to ameliorate it and make it better, help with it. The second problem was, and the counselor back there asked me, he said, Keith, is there technology that can be put in the warehouses to do away with the mold problem? Yes. It's expensive. It's something that can be done though. I mean, it is what it is. So you've got an aesthetic issue, potentially. It can be controlled in the warehouse. Is it a public health issue? Is it a soils and a crop issue? I see nothing that would indicate that. I have not been able to determine that anywhere. Now, people are hypersensitive to different molds. There's no way around that. I mean, you live close to it and you're hypersensitive to stuff, then you possibly could cause you issues. But I see nothing that there's a public health issue involved with Black City mold. It is an aesthetic issue though. And it's something that maybe the court or someone, Maker's Mark, could help the people with. Now, one thing that we've all tried to do is public officials, and I've always been a public official. I've always tried to be truthful. It is what it is. We're here trying to hash it out and work it out. Nobody wants it in their backyard, not over there either. But that's what we're here for today. We live and die oftentimes for the vote. Questions? Tom?
That green mold all on my house, is that from mint roots?
It grows, it does, it does. If you, right, you have mold, and people are actually hypersensitive to that oftentimes, but you have to clean your house. But it is an aesthetic issue. There's no way around that. So it's something that we work out here today or not. Yes?
Does it harm the cattle or the other things?
Not to my knowledge, not to my knowledge. I've really researched it, looked over, talked with other people about it, other scientists about it. I don't know anything that has a public health significance to
What
it.
about water?
No.
Ponds or groundwater?
No. Not to my knowledge. That's the truth. Okay?
So how expensive is it to control it in the warehouse?
Don't know that.
Maybe if Maker's got a lot of money, they can.
I don't know that, but I think there is a system that can be installed in each warehouse to control it.
Maybe
Maybe the counselor could answer that better than me.
It's called a thermal oxidizer, and it ranges anywhere from $180,000 to $400,000 per warehouse.
It's expensive, but it is controlled.
If you all want to continue their building in Marion, I would think that would be something you would want them to do. It's ridiculous that you represent citizens and you don't want them to protect your citizens.
We're going to move on, folks. I appreciate everybody's comments. I really do. Like I say, it is a tough. I don't appreciate that really at all. I really don't. I mean, we've been going through this for a long time. It's been stressful on everybody here, and we're looking out for the most of the county, and it's never been a done deal, Ike.
Well, there wasn't a lot of information because until we didn't know where they were going or what.
If you're abating Maker's Mark's taxes, why don't you consider abating our property taxes?
I got one last thing to say about all that. Let me make one thing completely clear. Maker's Mark is in Loretta. It's no longer Maker's Mark. It's Beam Suntory. Now, they're a global company, a big company with a lot of money. Maker's Mark has to go to them to get money when they want it. They don't have a bunch of money they own in a bank. They say, we're going to buy this or do this. It all comes through headquarters.
They're purchasing our spec building as well, out on the bypass. That's another building that's been sitting for 7 years in the county. So
County on that,
it's owned by Economic Development.
like,
Industrial Foundation owns the.
is that county or is that individual?
It's not. It's Economic.
The warehouse is do go there. There's a possibility of around corners of one-lane road, is it going to be vital?
Like I say, I'm sure the road will be addressed. I mean, it'll have to be. I mean, that's.
We're going to address the road and make it safe, okay?
I mean,
I don't want anybody hurt on that road today or tomorrow with Maker's Mark or no Maker's Mark or anybody else.
Anybody else?
Tom, you got something?
Well, I appreciate everybody's concerns. I just,
know, you mentioned that everybody's probably here is native of Marion County. I remember when I came here, a lot of people driving GE, Ford, IBM. We solved that problem with industrial bonds. There's several here in Marion County, plastic products, Worthington. The county is not giving up dollars. What they're doing is enticing a company to move. For that reason, I think, we got jobs in America. You know, turn our back on an industry that's an international icon. They create jobs, a lot of jobs, probably the best paying jobs in Marion County. Create a lot of tourism. Any other community, I mean, every community uses industrial bonding. It's a competitive thing, any county in the country. So, you know, I appreciate people's concerns. The tourism impact of this thing is unbelievable. 5 o'clock, I'm picking up 4 people from Jacksonville, Florida, that are coming here to see. So there's a lot of economy here. I appreciate people's concerns and hope that we're able to do something. Clean their houses, fix their crops.
I understand there's going to be 45 plus new jobs.
That's related to this.
Are they going to buy all their barrels locally?
Well, as far as I know, they do. They talked about a $495 million budget. 70% of that is rural.
Are you saying maybe if they not gonna bring these warehouses, make the market come and pack up the bags and leave?
I wouldn't say they pack up the bag, but they sure could jump across the
They
street and
don't like it.
go into Marion County or into Washington.
I mean, packed up down there and load up and leave.
They won't.
Well, you're indicating that could happen.
Any future growth could do, I say.
Well, not, this is different growth. They're gonna grow down there and make whiskey at time, this is different type of growth we're talking
I
about.
don't know what you mean by different type of.
Well, it's got barrels in a warehouse and putting off stuff.
Barrels are all part
You know.
of it.
But, I mean, don't make the people think that Maker's Marksman and load the bags up and leave over this decision.
Well, you know, Maker's Mark like this, it's Beam Global, you know, it's not Maker's Mark anymore, it's Beam Global. And they're a worldwide company. And, you know, we've heard on television, we've seen people probably lost jobs in companies that were tied with such companies. They moved their stuff out. I'm not saying they'll pack up and leave, but
But it wouldn't be, but they could.
no, they can't.
I've seen it happen, yeah.
What I want, what my position is, they are a good company. I don't want to trickle out of this county. Now, maybe I'm wrong sitting here. It ain't because I work there. It's because it's the best show in town, all right? And I don't want to start trickling out. I see people's kids and grandkids working down there making $27.20 an hour, 10 minutes from home. Total salary $65,000 a year. I don't want that to leave this county. No part of it. I think it'll make our county better and stronger. Are we going to have some problems along the way? I guarantee it. Today being one of them. But I believe we got to protect it. And I get nothing from it. I ask nothing for it. But that's where I am on the issue down there. I don't want to start trickling out of here. I think if it does, it'll be an exodus. Just keep on going somewhere else too. I don't want to start.
Can I just ask a quick question? When is the court, when are you thinking you're going to make this decision?
Tonight's the hour to begin the inducement to the IRBs.
is no offense against you, Steve, but it is your sons that they're buying the land from. Are you allowed to vote on this?
No. That's not a state ordinance, that's actually a county ordinance. Not allowed to vote on something that affects you or a member of your family, a relative.
Can Larry vote?
No, we can't.
No, you can't.
We're gonna move on. I gotta do what I gotta do.
I'd like to make a motion.
Oh, let me
Oh,
say
you
that. Consider approval of inducement resolution to enter into a memorandum of agreement regarding issuance of industrial revenue bonds for Maker's Mark warehouses and Crossroads Building. The location of warehouse being 512 Brown Foreman Road and Crossroads Building being 1789 Veterans Memorial Parkway. Need a
I'd
motion?
like to make a motion to vote on the approval of inducement resolution to enter into this agreement. That would take a vote on it.
I second that motion.
Motion on the floor, Mr. Quayle.
Abstain.
Mr. Masters.
I abstain.
Mr. Bishop.
I've been contacted by a lot of constituents in the last few days and had some pretty rough decisions, with this. Road issues being one of the big things, and I know that's something that may be taken care of, property values, and there's just a lot of uncertainties with this. Constituents put me in, but I don't want to lose this for Marion County either. But I got to vote no.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Elder being absent. 2 abstentions. We have a tie vote. Judge Doherty, would you like to vote?
Like I say, this has been a very tough 8-9 months. And I know, like I say, it is a very tough situation for me as well. I just think the good outweighs the bad. And I'm going to vote yes.
Motion carries. Vote 2-1.